Today we're preparing for the third Sunday of Lent. And we're going to do something different today where we're not going to listen to the gospel, but we're going to instead focus on the first reading because it's a very important reading, very famous, and has a deep meaning for our lives. So this is a reading from the book of Exodus. Moses was tending the flock of his father-in-law Jethro, the priest of Midian. Leading the flock across the desert, he came to Horeb, the mountain of God. There, an angel of the Lord appeared to Moses in fire flaming out of a bush. As he looked on, he was surprised to see that the bush, though on fire, was not consumed. So Moses decided, I must go over to look at this remarkable sight and see why the bush is not burned. When the Lord saw him coming over to look at it more closely, God called out to him from the bush, Moses, Moses. He answered, Here I am. God said, Come no nearer. Remove the sandals from your feet, for the place where you stand is holy ground. I am the God of your fathers, he continued, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob. Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look at God. But the Lord said, I have witnessed the affliction of my people in Egypt, and have heard their cry of complaint against their slave drivers. So I know well what they are suffering. Therefore I have come down to rescue them from the hands of the Egyptians, and lead them out of that land into a good and spacious land, a land flowing with milk and honey. Moses said to God, But when I go to the Israelites and say to them, The God of your fathers has sent me to you, if they ask me, What is his name? What am I to tell them? God replied, I am who am. Then he added, This is what you shall tell the Israelites, I am sent me to you. God spoke further to Moses, Thus shall you say to the Israelites, The Lord, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob, has sent me to you. This is my name forever. Thus am I to be remembered through all generations. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. This is a beautiful reading, and there's a lot of different things that we can learn from it, a lot of ways that we can understand its meaning from God for us. But I want to focus on this concept of the burning bush, because what happens in the burning bush is that Moses sees something kind of unusual, and then he goes to examine it and reflect on it. And what happens is in that moment he hears the voice of God. And recognizes that this burning bush is a way that God is communicating to him. God saying, Moses, Moses. And God reveals his own name, I am who am, to Moses in that moment. I want to just give you a technique that it's a way that we can kind of do something similar in our own lives. What does that mean? To look at the moments in our lives that are important, that are unusual, that are significant, and to bring those moments before God and ask the Lord, Lord, how are you present and speaking to me? How are you calling my name through this particular moment? And so what I want to invite you to is to do a certain kind of prayer. This is the kind of prayer, actually, that I learned from Father Fabian, okay? So this is the kind of prayer. You do three things. First, you ask yourself, where has God been present in my life? So did I have a moment where I felt like fully alive, or where I felt really convicted, or where I felt deep peace, or where I learned something new? A moment of God's presence. Second of all, I can ask myself, what was a moment of God's absence? Like, Lord, where was a moment where I didn't feel you? You know, Moses is here in exile, right? He's here in Midian, far away from his homeland. How do we feel in exile sometimes? Where's an experience of God's absence? And then third, we can ask, what's been a moment today where God has spoken to me in some way? Where there was some word that seemed significant, like it was coming from God. And what do? I bring all those up to God. I hold them all before him. And I invite him to speak to me about them. I give thanks for his moment of presence. I entrust to him my heart in that feeling of absence. And I receive and listen and resolve to follow the word that he has given me. And then I allow the word of God, the scriptures, to shine their light on this reality of my heart, of how God has been present to me. So I invite you guys to begin to pray in this way, looking for those moments of encounter with God throughout your day. Where was God present? Where was God absent, or at least felt absent? And what has God been saying to me today? And how does all that exist and be illuminated by the word of God, the scriptures that we have an opportunity to read every day? I invite you guys to encounter in that way the burning bushes of God in your life, ways that God speaks to you and calls your name and reveals to you the secrets of who he himself is. May God bless you and have a great third Sunday of Lent.